welcome everybody to this episode of Strong Perspective Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Keith Armstrong, along with
Uncle Spoke, what's up?
good evening, Uncle Spoke. Good evening to you, our audience, and look, our present and future audiences.
Mm-hmm.
Glad to have you. I pray that our conversation is a quality conversation in which you guys gain some insight about who you are, and also maybe we'll teach you something. I don't know. No, I think I can teach a little bit of something to somebody. You
A little
know what I'm
bit.
saying? At least give somebody the opportunity to see how you can communicate, even if you don't agree.
Mhm.
You know,
Teaching is cemented by the recipient, man. I mean, you say shit. We all say useful shit all the time. You know what I mean? It's when we try to. For me personally, when I try to direct it at someone for a specific person, it always flies. Just fucking freaking haywire or whatever.
okay.
So yeah, I'll speak, and if you pick something up, that's the blessing.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right. Well, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. This is Strong Perspective Podcast. We're on YouTube. We on YouTube strong. We've been at this for the last 3 years, and guess what? We're gonna keep going at it. And our 15 minutes of fame is about to pop. So y'all go ahead and hop on this train. We could say that you was there, and so you could say you was there.
Hmm.
So they can say you was there. You feel what I'm saying? All you got to do is people in the chat there, throw your question up, comment on anything that what we're talking about, and and let's just have it. You know what I mean? So please go like, share, and subscribe on at our YouTube channel, and you know we will appreciate you. And we try to answer everything that you guys put in the comments back in on the channel. So continue to do that,
Hmm.
and go punch me in on TikTok because I put in the shorts. Look, we trying to be multifaceted, faceted, faceted. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
With that being said, Jaquari, how was your day today, sir?
It was full, man. It was full and busy. A little, excuse me, a little more busy than I like my Fridays to be. But it's been a long time. It's been a long time since I've been able to dictate how my Fridays went. So that's the blessing right there.
Okay, cool, man, cool.
My minor inconveniences or whatever, just they don't ruin the day, but they kind of stretch it for me. So
I
it was
think
it was a good day.
I think the older we get, if we really concentrate, the bumps in the road, the valleys after the peaks, we're able to handle them. I don't think we're able to prevent them, but I think we're able to handle them. You know what I mean? You know how they say for men stand 10 toes, 10 toes, strong or whatever. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's what it is. Many things is going on that I think we'll call this freestyle Friday for Strong Perspective Podcast. Damon, our third host, is he's on another assignment, and it's an investigative assignment on how to be an Armstrong. So he has to be very, very meticulous and particular on it. So he'll be with us next week. And Damon, you keep doing your thing, brother.
Absolutely, man. Your presence is missed, brother.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. There's a certain energy, there's a certain dynamic that the three of us possess that I really enjoy, and I believe that our audience, the ones our returning audience look for when they see us. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I always say that you and Damon, you're the talent, and me, what I do is try to be the glue. That's it. You know. Um, Me personally, what do you think about the comedian Corey Holcomb? Corey?
Uh, uh, Corey Holcomb, man, when I first seen him, you know his his style. It was like first I was like, like it wasn't offensive or anything like that. Don't get me wrong, but he did. It was no short stops or nothing like that. He said, look, he came on stage and grabbed the mic and said, look, I'm about to bite your throat out, and then
Mhm.
proceeded to stretch your neck and bite. You know what I mean? So the stand up, it's always been very good. I always thought it was very good, and then when he started his podcast or whatever, I think he 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 found comfort in that medium. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
And I'm wondering if he's been more successful at this than he was or than he is at stand up, because I don't know if he still does
No,
anything
no,
like.
no, 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 he still does. No, he does stand up all the time. That's his job. I
Mm,
think that his podcast is more along the line of passive income. You know what I
mm,
mean? Because they come on once a week, I believe. And the reason why I asked about it is because he is a polarizing figure when it comes to social media.
mm,
So
definitely.
Corey always feels, especially if you're a fan, you feel like he's always speaking the truth about things. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Bring it. Look. Inventing the term backdooria. You know what I'm saying? In Hollywood, backdooria. You
mm,
know, and just the simple how he will attack other people. And I think to me, what it is with his podcast, and I might be wrong, and if he knew me personally, he might disagree or he might agree. It is his therapy, his therapeutic romp to get it off his chest, to say what he says. You know, if you're not familiar with Corey's humor, which is very, it could be offensive to women who who have a mean streak to him because he picks on those women.
mm,
He'll say, just bring it in context. He'll talk about how he is savior to
mm, mm,
impoverished women,
mm,
and he puts his comedic spin on it. And I think that his sets are tight. You know what I mean? But I think that his core audience is the one who really loves what he does. I think he's funny because he has a great imagination in how he does it. Some
mm,
people think it's offensive, and I respect why they think it is. You feel what I'm saying?
mm.
But he is very the way that he constructs his punchlines. I'm like, damn boy, you funny. I'm laughing at this because you did a superb job to find the comedy in this. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's what stand up is, though. That is the art form of stand up comedy, man. You're subject to hear anything at a stand up, you know, at a comedy show.
Uh-huh.
And uh, black comedians in particular, man. Hey, look, we've had carte blanche for a long time as black comedians, man.
Yeah.
Because male or female, we say things about the world that other other races can't do, can't say. You know.
Without some kind of black backlash like uh,
Mhm.
guilt or black folks like, man, how dare you if you're talking about black people? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah, and that's what it is. I mean, I forget who said it, but it made a lot of sense, and a lot of people have been saying it lately. But if you want to be accepted as a viable part of the community or whatever, then there's a certain amount of fun that's going to be made of you. That
Yeah.
that's acceptance. You know, we don't, you know, treating people with kid gloves or whatever. That's not acceptance. That's not, you know, how you treat your little brother when you grow up in the same house. You know, you put him in the headlock. You put him through the ringer sometimes. That don't mean you don't love him. And that's what stand up comedy, stand up comedy is, man. You
Yeah,
know,
that's true. I mean, because you got to think about comedians. Like if I see Corey on different, and it's not picking on Corey,
no,
or we're not concentrating because, in a nutshell, trauma, trauma and pain makes some of the best comedians.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
You know what I mean? In our community, we look for a reason to laugh about our trauma.
mm-hmm.
In my opinion, I think that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? It's not justifying it because I'm looking for a reason to feel better about being a downtrodden community.
No,
Oh, it's just more or less like, man, I gotta take the edge off. You
mm-hmm,
know,
mm-hmm.
you sitting there growling about some shit. Then you watching a certain comedian and you know the great communicator, Dave Chappelle, because that's what he is. He used to be a comedian, but he metamorphosized into a great communicator. This is what he does now. A great communicator that's funny. This is my opinion. That's funny every once in a while, but really hitting you with truth in a smooth way. But I think Corey's humor is funny because we as a community, what Kevin Hart say, laugh at our pain.
Mm-hmm.
We laugh at our pain. You know, I think that in itself, is that healthy to you, Jaquar? Laughing at your pain?
Absolutely not. It's not. What do they call that? It creates a cognitive dissonance or whatever.
Okay.
You know, this is a situation or whatever, and you know, I haven't, figured a way out. But since I'm here, I might as well secure a certain level of comfort, and
Hmm.
that's what happens when you turn misery into laughter.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's what it is. We as a community, we've always, other communities laugh at themselves too, but I think we have the premium of laughing at ourselves.
That's why hell, all the comedy writers, and I mean, and I don't want to be this guy or whatever, but I mean, all the comedy writers in Hollywood since its inception have been Jewish, because the Jews have always been getting kicked in the ass. You know what I mean? But my
No
my
doubt.
my, my, my only issue with that is when they started, writing for black shows. You know what
Mm.
I mean? And
To
don't
save money. But go ahead.
yeah, well, yeah. When
I apologize. That was fucked up. Go ahead.
you take it somewhere else, I'm trying to avoid or whatever. But come on, man. But I mean, and I'm not saying that some Good Times, freaking George Jefferson, all the stuff that Norman Lear did or whatever. It's funny stuff. Funny stuff. You know what I mean? But I don't know.
Is it funny because we got to see, like the Jefferson, we got to see a black family being affluent,
Mm. And
right?
really didn't know how to do it.
Exactly. Um,
That was
is it
funny when I first paid attention to it. It was funny, but it didn't change. It stayed the same throughout its inception or whatever. Good Times. James could have got a job.
James was getting the job, but
All
James kept getting laid off.
Yeah, but it was never anything sustainable, man. I mean, like it's you get a job at a car wash in Chicago. How long are you gonna actually work throughout the year?
Not that long.
Yeah, you're not gonna
You
work
know,
that.
late spring, late spring. No, it's cool. Fall, all through fall. It's the winter that that kicks you behind, just like Michigan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, shit, it get cold in the winter in Chicago. I mean,
But you
in the
see,
fall in Chicago, shit, that because it get cold in the winter
like
in the fall in Michigan.
Lake Michigan is a different monster, though. Okay, so us laughing at our pain. We kind of segue to that. You know, no, we haven't because really and truly, Corey Holcomb is talking about pain from
Yeah.
both sides.
Mm-hmm.
You know, black men dating women who they feel is not don't have their back, and black women depending on men who don't have their back. That's his humor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I
So
mean,
yeah, go ahead.
I think. I mean, he's addressing the agenda of deficiency. I think because I mean, it could be a scenario to where he's talking about sisters or whatever looking for the come up, and he's there to provide the come up, but it's going to be done by his rules.
Because of those sisters being in a traumatic situation.
Yeah.
And basically, do you think all they talking about is commerce? Like, so Corey tell us, he willingly tell us, hey man, oh I'm single and I'm having my way with these women because they don't know what money and being treated nice is about.
Mm.
Thinking a happy meal is a good date. That's his comedy. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm.
So my thing is if you overanalyze it, because this is the overanalyzation, because the comedy is what it is. It's fun. It is it's an act. It's what it is, right?
Mm.
But if you overanalyze it, Corey's pretty much saying that he don't know how to have a normal relationship. So what he's doing is taking a shortcut into, hey, I got this shiny quarter.
Mm.
You're not used to quarters. You used to nickels and pennies. I got this quarter. And I'll matter of fact, if you do me right, I'll bring $1 or two around.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? And that because it's like I said, not over analyzing shit because that's his comedy, and it's an exaggeration of a lifestyle.
Mm.
You feel what I'm saying? In my
But
opinion,
it's sure it's sure to spark a conversation on that.
yeah, it does. It does.
Sort of spark a conversation because I mean he shines a light on exactly what your expectations are, in the dating world or whatever. I have, this is going to be a business thing for me because
Mm.
I'm not tied down to anybody, and I have the opportunity to enjoy, several people. 'Cause,
Especially if he knows how to pick them.
yeah,
Because I'm be honest with you, all black women who are single, who may not, who have children, are not that, not even close to that.
right.
You know what I'm saying? What Corey in his comedy is speaking on is a very small percentage. I don't think people see that. They become offended because they feel as though he's insulting all black women.
Mhm.
You know, and it's not making an excuse for him.
And I wouldn't even say it's insulting. I mean, maybe because you gotta kind of sort of appreciate his perspective. I mean,
I get it.
if you are dealing with a single mom, there's things that you're expected to do with no reward, with no reward.
Which I think if you are a nurturing brother, and nurturing don't mean that you're soft. If you're a nurturing brother and you see a woman with some kids, right,
Mm.
you take some groceries over there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Without the compensation of the groceries, you're like, no, I don't want these children to go without because I'm dealing with their mama. You know what I'm saying?
And
So
at
you
that
go
point,
ahead.
you know what I'm saying? At that point, you know, for some dudes, it's too deep.
Mm.
It's very hard to compartmentalize, you know, emotions like that for men in particular, man, because you know you are dealing with a mom and you know her children. Now, if you create the scenario where you don't have to see the children, then you know it'd probably be better for you.
Yeah,
But who can do that?
I see what you're saying. That's. I mean, the mom, you get look, give the mom. It could be done. Get a mama babysitting money.
Yeah.
You know, and have rent money for that motel, that hotel,
Mm.
that Holiday Inn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I've never known or dealt with a single mom who accepted that you know whoever they was dealing with at the time didn't want to have anything to do with the children.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the truth. I mean, and I'm sure they're out there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm sure
Because
they're out there. I mean, more than not the majority, but enough to be recognized.
mm,
You feel what I'm saying?
mm,
You know, I mean, it's the truth because I think uh, last thing, you know, last comments on Corey. I think he feels a little persecuted because he stands on his comedy, and
mhm,
plus he has an opinion. See, this is what my problem is. Nah, it's not a problem. My concern when it comes to our community is we do not we do not play well with the folks who have an opinion that does not match ours as a majority.
yeah, that's too bad.
You,
Yeah, I
you,
understand what you're saying, but that's too bad though. You know.
yeah, but it's see, but that's the kind of thing that gets in the way. I'll give you a perfect example. Using Corey, his comedy, it exposes the extreme side of it, right? Say it's a brother and sister in that situation, and the sister recognized some of the things that Corey says.
Hmm.
In her mind, the next relationship, what she's going to do is she's not going to get trapped into that. You know what I mean? Then you got a brother, like I said, this is this scenario. You got a brother who thrive off of that because he just so happened to grow up in this little small town and he got a little bit of money, or he got, or the second thing that is attached to that in little small towns or small parts of the city, he has a reputation in which women will feed off that reputation, or he got a little bit of money that he's willing to share.
Hmm.
He realized that he may be overdoing it, and really that he started off looking for quality, but then he took that shortcut and oh man, look, she nice looking, and all I got to do is treat her good, and she's scheming like yo, all I got to do is just make sure he come back.
Hmm.
So they're both tugging at this thing, and he says to himself, you know what, man, I just got to slow down because before you know it, I'm gonna be that old head who at a bar or who at this who only have money to offer to that little 30-year-old woman. And you know she playing you, but guess what? Them dollar signs, now this is all exaggeration. Those dollar signs is following you. Look, all right, I'll come and spend some time with you.
Hmm.
We'll do some heavy petting. I'll make up an excuse. Hey, I'll pull my hamstring, sir. We can't do this right now. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
whatever it is. You know, I mean, you and I, we know all the scenarios, but the point is that comedy may wake people, might spark something to awaken people from the rep that they're in.
I mean, even outside of that, man, you know, he has a very large following, very large following. So the things that he talk about, people experience,
Yeah,
you know. And I've never heard him, you know, talk about having a jealous streak or anything like that. So you know, it's what it is. You know, he buy he pays for what he wants.
yeah,
Is that right? It's not my place to judge, man. Shit, I spend my money on black and mild on cigars all the time. You
hmm
know? And I know people who hate smoke. That ain't gonna stop my wheels.
yeah, yeah. And I think that if you're gonna be that way, then you have to quit being sensitive to how people feel about you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like the vibe that I get from him because he would he when somebody responds to him, he'll be appalled, then he'll attack them. You know what I'm saying? But no, man, that's your comedy, dude. And you talk about freedom of speech. You know what I mean?
That adds to the mythos of Corey Holcomb because you know, he's a comedian. He's hilarious off the fly. So he don't give a fuck who attacks him.
Yeah,
He wants the confrontation. I think that's why his podcast is as successful as it is because
yeah,
he's always gonna have material.
that's true.
Always gonna have material. Just being who he is.
Yeah,
You know, and he has the opportunity to survey his kingdom when he's on his when he's on his podcast, and he says what he wants to say. You
and
know,
I think he lucked up because he's always saying he's been a Hollywood outsider
mm-hmm.
because he don't deal with his word. He invented it, backdooria. He don't deal with that, so he don't get the parts that he deserves. You know what I mean? So the fact that he's able to, because he's been doing this 5150 podcast for years now,
Mm-hmm.
and
He
he
built
has the following that's giving him passive income. You know what I'm saying? And
he built it. Him and his people, they built it.
they sure did. They
You
sure
know,
did.
he's got you know, he's got room for the swagger.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, look, this is Freestyle Friday, so if you notice that we're talking about social media trivia tonight, is because this is Freestyle Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So next thing is Shannon Sharp, Corey.
Mm-hmm.
I have no opinion about his freaky nature, whether he's right or wrong, anything like that. I just think the crazy thing about it is just the life lesson in it. It's like this man was on a gigantic high.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Cat Williams, he and Cat Williams came together and did an explosive interview that was funny.
Mm-hmm.
It was a stand-up set on Cat Williams' part, right? In which he sprinkled some truth and exaggeration into it, and it was just funny. But what it did was put Shannon on a legitimate plane when it comes to a podcasting interviewer,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he's doing all these different things, man. And I think Shannon is 52, maybe. And within the last week or so, with the young lady suing him for $50 million,
Mm-hmm.
saying that he essayed her and all these different things. How and him being on the show with Stephen A. on a daily basis, and all these things at the top of the media game. Now it's because of his private life, because this is what it is. It's his private life.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't lose everything, but he lost a lot though, because I think, and I may be wrong, but I think ESPN finally let him go officially. You know what I'm saying? And I'm getting to the question, Corey. I just want to give a little bit of background.
Because you know, I don't know.
You know, basically what's going on for you and anybody who didn't know. Shannon is being sued by a young lady. I think she's about 22, 23 years old for suing for $50 million for SA, right? Say it one time, sexual assault, but SA is this young lady, and she set him up on a phone through a phone call, talking about supposedly this is what Shannon is saying, allegedly talking about Shannon saying he's gonna choke her in the recording,
Mm-hmm.
but that's his. Shannon says that's what he paid her for, because she's the OnlyFans model. That's what he paid her for just that type of scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And they were on the phone and they was talking about it. And Shannon said it a couple times. I'm gonna choke you when I see you, and this, that, and the other.
Mm-hmm.
And you could tell that she was rehearsing it because she didn't sound authentic as she talked. You know what I mean? This is my opinion about it. So her lawyer released that.
Mm-hmm.
And Shannon excused himself from ESPN for a while until he got all this stuff straightened out. Allegedly, he offered the young lady $10 million.
Mm-hmm.
She turned it down and said she wanted $50 million. Her and her lawyer. It's the same lawyer who tried to who sued
Puffy.
Puffy and also sued Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm.
Jay-Z, they end up dropping that. So the question is, people were saying he had no business being with that young girl. People were saying that they think he's guilty. People are saying a lot of things. What is your take on the situation?
I mean, I haven't avoided the story or anything like that, but I don't have any interest in it, man. It's like when everybody was saying that, questioning the sexuality or whatever. I haven't paid attention to that either. I mean, it is what it is. Shannon Sharp. I mean, I'm proud of his accomplishments, man. He was a dog, man. Shannon Sharp is a dog in the league, and then he parlayed it, and he kept on going, and he achieved greatness with ESPN. He did. He achieved, and he achieved. He was on the way to achieving, to cementing his greatness with his podcast. You know what I mean? And he just wasn't. He wasn't careful. I mean, you would imagine with the amount of money that celebrities have, man, their vetting systems will be a lot more, a lot stricter,
Yeah.
or whatever, because there's somebody, who he could have got with and done all that stuff with for free.
Yeah.
My real issue is just equating it to my life. If I go to McDonald's and I, it's simplified, so don't get me wrong. Saying that I have a skewed vision of SA and all that stuff. If he did it, then he's got a price to pay. And hopefully all that stuff will come out, and I hope that he's vindicated.
Okay.
But if I go to McDonald's and order a Big Mac, and I eat the Big Mac, and then a couple of days later, the cashier is on social media talking about, yeah, he ate the Big Mac and he was licking the sauce off and all this and all that. I'm feeling betrayed because I paid you money, motherfucker. This was a contract. This was business. And anything that you did, within the time frame that I was with you was business.
Taking somebody's word for it.
Yeah, I mean, and if that's the case, man, then it ain't gonna be nobody safe ever again. I mean, especially if you have money.
See, that's my thing though. you brought it up, is having a better vetting situation. You know, knowing what professionals to, if you into that kink stuff,
Mm,
what professionals to deal with, because there are professionals out there that's what they strictly do,
yeah.
and they get paid well to do it, and they stay on that professional line. You know what I mean? I don't know what side the truth is lays on.
Mm,
I just think I brought Shannon up because he was riding a high.
mm,
You know what I mean? And any doubt, and bringing in the color card, any doubt that a black man has of being in a negative light, black folks hop on that train inadvertently, purposely. You know what I'm saying? Reflexively, they hop on that train,
mm,
and this is kind of a combo conversation. Looking at and what I explained about Shannon, why do you feel that we're willing to think the worst of people on one hand, and then why do you think we want to think the best of the worst people on the other hand?
well, I don't think the best of the worst people at all. I understand, I think I have a pretty good handle on human nature, so nothing really surprises me, man. But I think we all hop on the demonizing bandwagon, man, because you know how should I put it? As no matter how marginalized we are as black men, everybody talks to us. Everybody talks to us. White men, black men, white women, black women. Everybody talks to black men. Everybody is honest with black men in certain settings.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And when you're a person who is capable of bringing out somebody's darkest secrets during a casual conversation, then it kind of puts you in a space to where you do kind of pay attention to the darker shit.
I got you.
Not saying that that's the case. I mean, but it's hard to explain that man's journey. It's because he been getting kicked in the ass, man. It ain't been a year since the other stuff, and now he's got this going on. I mean, yeah, he kind of killed those rumors, but is this the way he wanted to do it?
With the white girl. Hey, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, that bothered me, man. Don't do that, bro.
That's why I did it. But go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't, I don't know, man. I can't even try to formulate an opinion
And,
on it.
and tonight, ladies and gentlemen, what we're doing is we're low key speaking on light situations about life and all that, because this is freestyle Friday for us, and we're just chopping it up. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm interested in the social media part of celebrities, but I don't live and die off of it. Meaning it's not that important to me, where in which I'm going to be appalled unless it's a murderer or a rapist. You know what I'm saying? In every category of a rapist. Unless it's that thing right there, then I'm like, yo, something needs to be done. But when it comes to a consensual situation, I can't I look at it, I address it, and I move on.
Hmm.
Because those are grown adults, and I'm talking about adults now. Those are grown adults, and that's their thing, you know.
But my question is, and I'm sure it's a lot of questions because I didn't know that he offered this young lady $10 million.
Allegedly he did, but in the yeah, go ahead.
But people would ask, well, if he's not guilty, why would he offer any money? You know, and because I mean, you know, when you got it, you pay for shit to go away.
Look. First of all, you don't want to go through the nonsense, right? Of public opinion, because public opinion when it comes to celebrities is ultra important. The reason why it's ultra important because your celebrity is where you what you get paid off of.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna lose. So if he offered her $10 million, he has he has a chance to lose $100 million over a certain amount of years.
Mm-hmm.
So he's looking at it if he offered that to her. You see what I'm saying? So it's the kind of thing where you have to look at things logically and not get. When it comes to entertainers, I only look unless I know them personally. Like I can pick my phone up and call them.
Mm-hmm.
I am looking from afar, and what degree that I look at it is the degree of how it affects me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but for me, man, it's you know, ever since celebrity private life has become popular, you know, a popular topic of conversation. You know, I've always avoided it, man, because you know what do you do when you find out that somebody you know you seen on the stage or on the court or on the field or whatever, and you appreciate you know the work that they put in. What do you do when you find out that that person is vile? You know, I mean,
I mean, what
you
I'm gonna
don't
let
do
you
it.
finish, but
Yeah, me, I don't. I mean, I don't do anything because everybody is, you know, well, not everybody, but people in all fields of employment. Period. All fields of life. Period. Man, some people are vile. That's just a simple fact.
yeah.
It's a simple fact. You know, I use you know R. Kelly as an example or whatever. You know, the stuff that he's been accused of, the stuff that you know got him sent to prison and everything, appalling, vile, appalling. You know, but what about the music? The music has touched millions, man, and I'm quite sure there's been
I get it.
scenarios, you know, where his music was playing in very, you know, very very safe spaces.
So what
You
do
know,
they call it? But what about the fruit of the what tree?
oh man, dope money don't care where it comes from when it builds.
Yo, it does. It does.
Dope money don't care
It
where it
does.
comes from when it builds a school. It don't. No, it
We
don't.
might look. We might disagree on this, but if you are convicted and that's what your life is about, you're going to have a problem with it. You brought up R. Kelly, right? I stopped listening to it. I never watched the video, but I've had enough people tell me who watched the video that you know, the young lady looked like that certain age. You
Mm-hmm.
feel what I'm saying? And then other rumors coming out, and then it was confirmed when Aaliyah was 15 and he married her. You
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying to you? I stopped listening to his stuff on a personal reason. Everybody else, I didn't have a problem with them listening. But on a personal level, I stopped doing it because I'm like, bro, I can't do that because, you know, this is something that I'm against. You know what I'm
I
saying? I don't
understand.
care how wonderful like with Michael Jackson, when all those things was coming out with him, right? My personal, I shut him down. I don't care if he's a king of pop. I don't care if he makes grown men cry at concerts and shit like that. I don't care about that. It's just my own personal opinion. But I'm not going to
Get it.
persecute anybody else who does.
And I understand that. I understand that. And that's entirely your choice. to not use those products, and I understand that, because I've done the same thing. I never seen dude pissing on nobody, because I mean that it doesn't it didn't interest me in any form of my life,
Yeah.
entertainment, personally or anything like that. So I had no desire to see it, So yeah, it was easy to divest myself, from their work, after I heard those things. But after we heard those things, those things didn't stop happening in the world.
And once I find out about it, you and I got law enforcement backgrounds. So the first time I hear it, I go to the ultra sense, the negative. Like, man, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? That's just it. Before I got into law enforcement, I was like, fuck that. What the fuck is this? That was never normalized to me.
Right.
But see, that's my own personal thing. You know what I mean? Everybody else is hopping on, everybody else hopping on it. Yeah, but his music, they made it a little punchline, made it funny. I'm still, but but they was honest and they was real about that. And I'm looking at it. I look at them in a different light. The comedians and women, I look at them differently. Like, you still like his music, but you know what this man has done. But not judging them, but understand. No, what I did was,
wasn't a judgment.
No, what it was looking at him different. Bro, you can look, judging on my part, brother. This is my definition of judging. I'm not fucking with you. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because what I understand is people have their opinion and they have their wants, they have their needs, they have everything about who they are for their own personal reason. Now, I can tell you I disagree with you if I disagree with you. But see, that's my own personal reason. You get what I'm saying? And I think we all had the freedom to be that way. You know what I mean? So if you believe in something and I say respectfully, I disagree with you and I can't do business with you, or I can't be around you because you feel like this, that should be respected. It shouldn't be no hard feelings because of it, and vice versa. You know what I mean? Now, I ain't gonna be that hypocrite. This motherfucker told me he can't mess with me because I like peppermint candy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just oversimplifying, but my point is, okay, I get it. I'm gonna ask you why. You know what I mean? If I feel that strongly about it. But if I know that it's not everybody's cup of tea, I ain't gonna say shit. I'm like, okay, I respect it. Now, if we get money together, we got to find the common ground.
Well, I mean, for me, simply put, man, Jesus drank wine, and we have no idea how it affected him.
Okay.
And that's why it says that. All right, yeah, it's cool to, in the Bible. It says, yeah, it's cool to drink wine, but don't get drunk. Why'd they put that in there?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Snapping them fingers, bro. I think alcohol does several things, but one of those things is the truth tries to push its way out to the surface. It don't always succeed, but it does.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the church put that in there because, when the peasants, I'm talking about under the popedom. Now we talking about some shit now.
Mm-hmm.
Under the popedom, when the peasants got drunk, they looked around them because alcohol is a depressant. They looked around, they saw the truth, like, oh, the fuck on, what? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's a control thing. I'm reaching, but it is what it is.
You know how significant, and this is strictly personal opinion, just through observation or whatever. But I wonder how long, like, the Pope has the Pope always dressed in a white robe. And the reason why I asked that, man, is because like during like the medieval days, if he did dress in a white robe, you have any idea how hard that is?
Well, maybe look. First of all, wow, that's
You have any idea how it is, how hard it is to have a white robe, a pristinely white robe and hat throughout history?
it was look. It's gray and red and black, bro. That white robe stuff is modern day now because it can be clean, but
Mhm.
really and truly, and movie wise, it's white robes. But
Yeah,
honestly,
that's the only reference.
honestly, yeah. Honestly, the clothing was a bland color because that's the only thing that they could. Because they would wear these things without bathing. They would bathe once a month, and that's from the privilege. You know what I mean? The peasants used to dive in the river and rub under their underarms, and then they keep it moving. You
Mhm.
feel what I'm saying? Well, then we branching off, but I think I brought up Shannon because he may not fall no further, but man, he was in position as far as a celebrity is concerned
Mhm.
that he was going to, if he was about money, the money was going to really start rolling in. But if it's about being in the ultra click ABC and ESPN,
Mhm.
he was there. You know what I'm saying? He was Stephen A's protege. You feel me?
And
And now,
I think there's still room for that though. I mean, once he's past this, I think there's still room for it.
man, this is a 3 to 5 year pass, bro. And they're gonna ease him back on the ESPN probably in about 3 years. Being optimistic too. You feel what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because when it comes to this Disney and ESPN, they're about what makes sense. The dollars make sense. And people are like, oh man, that's his private life. Yeah, but it's about money.
Yeah.
It's about the money.
You mentioned Disney, man. I mean, if what's going on, Cuz? What's going on?
Cuz, what's going on, baby?
You mentioned Disney, man. If there's any entity on the face of the planet that should not have like any issues with image or fucking morality, it should be Disney. I'm sorry.
But that's the whole point, though. There was no social media when Walt was alive.
Yeah, but they still. I mean, you still have things that are documented.
I get it. I get it. Okay. Since we on this sports thing, Shador Sanders.
Hmm.
You need me to break it down for you? You have the gist of what's going on.
Yeah, I got the gist of that. Yeah.
Okay. Now, just real quick, Shador, who is projected to be like at least top 5 quarterbacks in his draft class,
Mhm.
didn't get drafted to the 5th round. In your opinion, and it's just your opinion, and I respect whatever you say. Why do you think Shador got drafted in the 5th round instead of the first 2 rounds?
I mean, it, it wasn't in regards to football.
Okay.
Was it his dad? More likely, but this is sports. I mean, the sins of the father don't count. Especially when the bottom line when he's going to increase your bottom line.
In which he's already did as far as jersey sales. Yes, sir.
I mean, as far as his character, I mean, the people who passed on him, I seriously doubt if they've ever sat in a room with him. I don't know that young man's character.
Yeah.
You know, he's played football. He's played football and he's gone to school. That's all he's done up to this point. So I mean, as far as his mark in the world, he hadn't made it.
Yeah.
You know, but I got to say that he's drafted or whatever. You know, he's gonna go and work out with the team and earn his spot on the team, and I believe he's going to be successful. So I don't feel bad for him. I don't feel bad for him.
Yeah.
You know, because that's not what he needs. He doesn't need us as a community to feel bad for him. But when he started kicking ass, you know, because I have no doubt that young man's gonna start kicking ass. He's gonna kick ass. You know, when that starts to happen, you same fuckers that passed. You know, what are you gonna say then?
Yeah.
Y'all dropped. I believe y'all dropped the ball. I think you dropped the ball. You know, and you know, with the support of his dad, you know, because you know, Deion not gonna be coaching him no more, but he's gonna be supporting him. He knows how to support a superstar.
Yeah.
He's done it for years in professional locker rooms. So that's why I say that I don't feel bad for him. Because shit, he's already his sports career has already been eons more better than mine. You know what I mean? So I'm not talking shit on that. You know what I mean? It's just unfortunate, man, that you know, because he 22. He a child, man.
He's a child.
He a child, man, and he got the weight of the fucking world on him because of sports.
Yeah.
Come on, man, that's not fair. It ain't fair. And fairness, we, as Americans, fairness hadn't factored into any of our scenarios, you know, since the inception of this country. So I get that, I understand. But you know, if I'm on a professional platform or whatever, and I'm doing an interview, and you come out on stage with me and wrestle me down and put your foot on my neck, and people see that shit, people see it. And they still don't fucking acknowledge it, man. You know, when my shit blow up and I no longer need y'all, you know, that shit's gonna be sweet.
Yeah.
It's gonna be sweet, man. And he's gonna be writing his tickets just like his daddy writes his tickets. I feel the same way about LeBron James' son. You know. He's going to find something when he finally gets to the league. He's going to find something that he excels at. You know, if he's a role player, he's probably going to be very, very good. You know, and he's going to have a level of success, and you know, whether or not he chooses to, you know, thumb his nose at his naysayers or enjoy that success with some grace. That's going to tell the story right there.
Yeah. You know, before I go, Stacey Chauncey says, "What's up, cuz? Never been in trouble. We teach our children to be confident. He had a successful black father, not fatherless, but they're complaining."
Mm-hmm.
I get that. That's a great point, Stacey. It really is.
Very good point.
I think here's the thing about it is, I got several points on this, and real quick. I think Cleveland always wanted to draft him, and this is no shade on Deshaun Watson, but the Cleveland got all that guaranteed money hanging over their head because of Deshaun Watson, because he's always getting injured. He's been injured the first 3 years he wasn't available because of the other stuff, but the last 2 he got injured, season-ending injury, and he had the richest contract. He signed. Cleveland got all that money, right? Now, conspiracy. If you draft Shedeur, in the first 2 rounds, Shedeur has this popularity train, the social media train. It's that pressure. Now, Shedeur might be in a position to do what? Hey, I'm going to hold out because you're not giving me enough money. Now, the rookies have a certain amount of money in the NFL that they can be paid. So I get that. But they conspiracy-wise, they didn't want to take a chance. They didn't want to take a chance on. They didn't want to take a chance on Shedeur. They didn't want to take a chance on Shedeur creating a new lane when it comes to rookie quarterbacks or rookie whatever.
Too late.
Because you had Deion, but see what they did was like, look, to me, the owners and Stacy, we talked about that. What's going on, fam? Taylor.
What's going on?
Me and Stacy talked about it. They had all that money with Deshaun, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't want the headache. So to me, the owners, with the NFL franchises, is a private entity. So they can get together and decide, yo, do not touch him. We want him because they mutually want everyone to succeed. Some want more than others, but in the realness of it, they want each other to succeed. So Cleveland asked, they said, Cleveland, we're going to do you a favor. We're not going to touch him because the Giants needed him. Even though they had Russ and they had Florida State kid, I forgot his name. But still, they old heads and they journeymen now. Russell Wilson and the other cat, they journeymen now. So they both signed 1-year contracts. So the Giants could have drafted Shedeur, and a couple other teams could have drafted him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Cleveland knew that nobody was going to touch him, and they put, hey, we're going to get him in the 5th round because all the rounds in between then they drafted another quarterback, number 1 or number 2, I believe, but they drafted him because they got the 2 old heads up there, Deshaun and the Baltimore guy, Super Bowl guy. They have him up there. They ain't gonna be there. So they drafted 2 quarterbacks. That's the future, and they're gonna battle it out. So what did it do to Shedeur? I seen Shedeur, and your brother Damon pointed out to me. I seen Shedeur's face when he got that call from freaking from Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
He was elated. People said, no, Deion told him to be grateful. No, I saw gratitude in that young man.
Mm-hmm.
That somebody picked him.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
And you know what, man? I don't know how much it really matters, but people say, ask why he went so late in the draft or whatever. They want to put it on his dad or whatever, man. I think it's because he already had money. And who the fuck wants to deal with that? Who the fuck wants to deal with that? He's coming in.
He's empowered.
Right. He is empowered.
For 2 years, so 2 years in a row, he was earning $3 million a year.
What are you gonna do with that? What are you gonna do with that? You don't have that leverage on it. He wasn't born the son of the son of a sharecropper.
That's real.
That's number 1, and number 2. He is amassed a small fortune as a non-professional athlete. There are certain things that he's going to ask for. There's certain expectations that he has,
and he should ask for
and
because he knows.
And
yes.
He should.
Yes.
That's my take.
Yeah.
Now, and I'm not pocket watching him or anything like that, but shit, he got it.
Yeah.
He got it. So all he's looking to do is take over a program and win Super Bowls. That's all he's going. He's not looking to buy his mama a house.
That's real. Because his mom offered alimony, she already got her house.
Yeah.
Even though she tried to kill his dad. No, I'm leave that alone.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm just adding some comedy in it. And that's the thing. You brought up a good point, Corey, that it was a negative against him because he had confidence. You feel what I'm saying? He had confidence, bro, because his dad was a millionaire. He didn't have to struggle. You know what I'm saying? Because once he moved from Jackson to Colorado, the endorsements and the NIL came into play. He had money. They held that against him. If it's a conspiracy,
Yeah.
if it's a conspiracy, they held that against him. Now, let me throw this in there real quick. Then I want to read this comment. Shador has his father's confidence, but he doesn't have his father's charisma. So speaking on the interviews, how they say, oh, he came in there with the chains on and his hat backwards. They're informal freaking interviews, first of all. They always been. Some people prefer to wear suits, but the majority of the people was in there. They came in with sweats or whatever. It's just an interview.
After the game.
You know, holding against him, holding it against him because he is blessed with privilege. You feel what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, are you throwing this out here because you understand that he was getting ready to get dicked as far as the draft is concerned? Because they're like, oh yeah, you know, Shador lost $40 million. He didn't lose shit because it wasn't guaranteed.
Yeah, he didn't have it. So I mean,
he didn't have it in his hands. But he got drafted to a team that he has a chance to become a starter and a solid starter in a conference, which is a monster conference. So they better build up their offensive line because they already got a great defense, right? But they better build up their offensive line. You know what I'm saying? So they hold. It's funny. It's more so in our community when if a kid don't come from struggle, that's a negative against them. And see, that's the thing about it is it shouldn't be unless he displays that. Meaning, your dad and mom might have given you everything you wanted growing up. But when you step on that court, when you step on that field and you're a dog because you want to be a dog, has nothing to do with anything that you've been given in your life. But guess what? Our community has always been what? Always looked at being marginalized.
It's an anomaly, man. You know, for me personally, it's an anomaly, man. When people find success, you know, through hard work, and that extra fuel that fires them. That shit. I grew up in a house, so we ain't had no phone. The gas was cut off all the time or whatever. When that's not a part of their story, then I can't particularly relate to it. And I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing or whatever,
You
man.
know that's a personal thing that you look for.
Yeah, people
I agree with you.
People love to see that struggle, it equated to something that in their lives.
Like the American dream. You and I started in the same vein, and even though we don't know each other, I see you because God gifted you with the powerful mind and the ability to do a certain thing in my favorite sport. I can relate to you because we started from the same place. But not looking at myself is, okay, I don't have that athletic ability, but I'm feeding my family. We're living. We're happy. I might have to work a little harder than you, but I am happy. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, I split down the middle. God blessed me with unbelievable strength, size, and ability, right? But also being even though both our parents worked, being impoverished. You see what I'm saying? So I got to see when my ability took me to a certain place, a certain level. but understanding where I came from.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? And so my work ethic has always been on 10,000 because there's a little sprinkle in there. I don't want to not have money, but because on a personal basis, I want to win.
Mhm.
This is who I am.
Absolutely.
You know, we always give credit to poverty, and we don't give enough credit to the individual being single-minded to succeed.
Just the goddamn work ethic, man. I mean,
That's it.
scarcity is always equated to control. And when you're dealing with a person who who never had to work past scarcity, and they're basically even on a level playing field as you, how do you address that?
I get it.
How do you address that? You apparently you try to kill it in the crib.
Yeah.
But the $40 million and all that, I mean, shit, ain't he got that already? Like,
I mean,
you know what I mean? Like,
if you don't have it, Ja'Cory, guess what's gonna happen? He is on a fucking road to it.
he's gonna get it, and
And,
that's
and
what.
look, he could get it just by having a good manager and good investment, and he can have it.
Yep.
And that's all. I mean, I think. Oh, now I have to be. I'm gonna keep it a buck, and you tell me what you think about this. The conversation me and Stacey had the other day. I think Dion is a strong father, right? But I think Dion did not understand that his children are not him. Dion tried to create the same magic that he did for himself for his children. And this is a scenario that I'm putting together. Making demands. Oh, they're not going to play for them. If they're not a package deal, he just talking smack. If they not this, he's not going to pay for this team. He's not going to play. They better not draft him, or they shouldn't draft him, right? I think he overplayed his hands, not because he was wrong, because you shoot for the moon. Matter of fact, you shoot for the heavens. And if you fail, you fall amongst the stars, right? But I think what he didn't understand is football is an entertainment. This is my personal opinion. Football is an entertainment entity. And to piggyback off that, those owners are private owners of franchises. So they don't give a shit what you're talking. If you offend them as a group, they can't get back at you. Now, this is conspiracy theory, but they'll get back at your children.
Yeah, I mean, but you talked about how he tried to construct his son's career and pattern it after his career. I mean, but what else is he to do?
I mean, I respect it.
That's
I
what he
really
that,
do.
that's what he knows. And as far as
I
he's
really,
concerned,
I respect it.
yeah, as far as he's concerned, that's the blueprint.
I
So,
think. Go ahead, Jaquan.
so no, I'm just gonna say so why should he change it? Because it's worked. It worked up to this point. It
But
worked.
who did it work for, Jaquan? It actually worked for him.
So
It actually worked from him. Coming from Jackson State, caring for those kids that's under his care. You know what I mean? So I'm going to give him that. He cares for his players, right? The 3 years we were at Jackson State, they built up a situation, and then the Colorado situation came on, and it was like lightning in a bottle. Boom, he's there. So what he end up doing? What did he end up doing, right? He ended up thinking that it's a group thing, but it's individual. Dion, this is your sons, both your sons, Shiloh and Shador, and Bucky with his because Dion Jr.'s media situation blew them up even more, right? Travis Hunter, in which you took under your wing because he trusted you, right? From the giddy up, he trusted you. I think Dion made the mistake that there was all the package deal, but really and truly, it was him. Dion, this is you. Colorado, this is you. They are the talent. You feel what I'm saying? Because this is not a reality TV show that y'all in, even though y'all made it that way, and all of them got really truly compensated, which I love that. But no, this success right here is because of your persona, your celebrity. So when you go up to the NFL, Dion, you have nothing to do with that. You feeling what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, and after after a lifetime of craftsmanship, which is basically what he did. He crafted that young man. He crafted his children. Which is what a father, and that's a father's job is to build your children up. So when they leave your house or whatever, they can grab it as much success as they possibly can. You go with what you know, and until you have to pivot.
Yeah,
And I think that's the important note or whatever.
I get
Because
it.
you know,
And I'm
the
not criticizing those folks.
no no
That's
no
not what
no
I mean. I'm
no.
just throwing it out there, you
Mm.
know.
Yeah, but there's several things that upcoming athletes need to pay attention to in this situation. Seriously, I mean,
The college athlete, because of Dion and his sons, Travis Hunter, because what they did was they became rock stars in the last 2 years. They became rock stars. They became rock stars in the sense that the NIL is forever changed because Dion and them showed how it can affect the college game. You know what I'm saying? It affects the college game. It empowers these young men. Now, these young men doing impetuous things with it, like the kid from Tennessee. But the kid from Tennessee, he's getting $2 million a year from Tennessee, but he leaves Tennessee for $4 million. Right? I respect it, but your excuse, you had no reason for leaving Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? And it's not the pro level. So my thing is, in my heart, my assumption is this kid from Tennessee feel like he's not gonna make it on the pro level. So he's trying to get it to where he can get it good. You feel what I'm saying? But Dion and his people changed how America looks at the NIL.
mm-hmm. I said as much. I don't know how many shows back, but it's going to change the face of American athletics, man. American professional athletics. Because you're gonna have a crop of kids coming in to professional sports who are already secured in the future. Now, how do you negotiate with these kids? And as far as that goes, the portal, shit.
They got to change the portal, man.
Yeah, I mean, but they're going to carry that. I mean, it's a possibility that they're going to carry that mindset over into the professional leagues.
Because I think people make the mistake of combining the portal,
Yeah,
the NIL, and school pack money to combine them into one. There are three separate situations. You know what I'm saying? The portal needs to be amended But why would you leave it in the hands of the NCAA? The motherfuckers is making billions of dollars before the NIL. Because and out of their selfish stupidity, this is why we have the NIL right now. Now, the NIL, name, image, and likeness, has to do with advertising, period. Has nothing to do with the school, unless it's an alumni. You know what I'm saying? Has nothing to do with the school. It's the name, image, and likeness. You doing endorsements. PAC money has to do with the school, where they sign a contract like, yo, you are guaranteeing me a certain amount of money if I come here. You see what I'm saying? And then the portal is a mess. But see, I think the NCAA did that on purpose. They let it be a mess because now they're waiting for Congress to convene and say, hey, this is crazy. You know, these kids is outlandish, is this, is that, blah, 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 bit, 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 right? We need somebody to come in and take it over. The NCAA is like this. We'll do it. We already got a plan.
I kind of think that the NCAA would be the natural choice. They're already established as an entity.
But they are a corporation that wants money.
Yeah.
That's why I don't trust them. Because when it came to Ed O'Bannon, because he was the one who sparked it all they had to do was do what? Write that fucking check, and that man would have been happy. But what did they do? Oh, we're too big. Oh, no. Then once they signed to these schools, and these schools are underneath us, no, that money is ours. You feel what I'm saying? It's just like greed has gotten us here. Now they're trying to do to me, they're trying to do the slick way, like, oh, yo, our hands is out. Hey, Congress, Senate, well, our hands are, we ain't doing it. We don't have nothing to do with this. Look what the perception is.
But is it greed? Was it greed or was it lack of vision?
Greed and lack of vision, folks. Because they had it. They had complete control of that purse. They had complete control of that purse. And then when the Supreme Courts, statewide and federal, ruled against them, instead of writing those checks, what did they do? Oh, name, image, and likeness. This is what you can do. And they stepped away. You feel me? And it's that in a nutshell. Let me read what Stacey had to say. He said his dad couldn't go out there and perform for him on the field. Talent is talent. 2021 Jerry Rice Award, 2024 Deacon Jones Trophy, and 2024 Johnny United Golden Arm Award. That's the truth. Mm-hmm. But the thing about it is, and this being the advocate on it, what if Deion was not in the picture and he did it? Would he get all those awards? And this is pure speculation because he probably still would have gotten all the awards,
yeah.
Right?
I mean, these awards are things that are determined by numbers.
And you know the thing about it is, his last 2 years, I'm talking about Shedeur, he has had 5,000-yard receivers. This past year, he had 3 1,000-yard receivers. Mm-hmm. And you dropped them in the 5th round. Come on, man. It doesn't make sense. It don't make sense at all.
Yeah,
and like I said, to me, let me just say this, because I got to say this. I don't think he's slighted because the young man has money. I think he's slighted because if he's a football player, you know, he got drafted. And if they give him a legitimate chance, I think he will be able to make something out of it. Mm-hmm. I worry about the young man who don't have the things that Shedeur has. to fall back on. You feel what I'm saying? Like, well, did Milrose ever get drafted? I'm asking the chat. Did Milrose ever get drafted? Because he was there for 3 days straight. The Alabama quarterback. He was there for 3 days straight. Nobody called his name. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what kind of financial situation his parents is in or he's in. I know he has some NIL money, but the point is, if you're talking about just football players, he was a football player. You feel what I'm saying? If you want to talk about embarrassment, he came to it and you know and nothing. But it is what it is. All right. Well, last question of the day. And I mean, since we on this like this, Jaquari, we're gonna come to you. If you was in the same position, would you handle the same way as Deion did? Meaning trying to give him every situation that he can give to his children.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you know, I've only heard you take Bill Gates, you know, for instance, or whatever. You know, for a while it was, you know, I don't know if he actually said it, but you know, he had no intentions on leaving his children his money or anything like that. So why even amass it? Why even amass it? You know, I mean, it's a dream, man, for any man, white, brown, you know, or red, man, to leave his children a legacy. I would have thought, you know what I mean, to have things, you know, presented to them that you had to struggle for when you were their age.
Uh-huh.
You know, I mean, if I had a son and I had an opportunity to, you know, to build something substantial and then just, you know, and say, hey, look, all right, it's your turn now. That's the legacy. That's what you want.
I get it.
So yeah, I would have done. I mean, I don't think he did. I don't think Deion did anything wrong, man.
I don't think he did either.
He passed down lineage, man. He passed down the family tradition.
I think, and I agree with you. I think what I like about the situation is he was heavy-handed when it came to other kids because he really and truly got into coaching to make sure his sons thrived.
Mm-hmm.
See, he didn't coach his oldest son. So with his two youngest sons, this is my own opinion. His two youngest sons, he got involved.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because he was fully retired then. He got involved and he used everything he could to make them to create a good situation for them to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every father should be able to do that. But what I like about him is he could have had tunnel vision and only concentrated on his sons. You see what I'm saying? But he included. Now, the social media made it seem like he was really inclusive of those other kids. But what he did was he made sure that he touched everyone that was available around him. You feel what I'm saying? So when it came to his social media, he named kids by name.
Mm-hmm.
He did all these different things because he could have just, no, he kind of did because Colorado became, 3 years they were there? They were strictly pass. Even though they had some running backs that came in that were very, very good running backs. But guess what them running backs did? They went into the portal the year after they played at Colorado. because it was an all passing offense. That's what he did. His Colorado offense was all passing. So that's centered around Shedeur. You see what I'm saying? So I think what he was masterful at was splitting the difference. Where he cared about kids, about them graduating, about them being taken care of, right? But he uses his resources for both his sons. You know what I'm saying?
I'd be very interested,
No, all three of them. I'm sorry, all three of them.
I'd be very interested to hear, how the other boys, will talk about the experience under him.
Some of them, the ones who transferred out, felt like that it was a facade, that he really didn't pay attention to him. You feel what I'm saying? Which is understandable, because it's more or less, if you feel something negative and you don't want to be there, that's all you're gonna ever feel. You ain't gonna never feel about the positive, especially when you're a youngin'.
Is there something there, or was
it could have been because
our grapes?
I mean, you got to think about it. Him being a head coach of a Power 5 school, even though Colorado is trying to come up and be, he's not accessible as he was when he was at Jackson State. Yeah, it was checks and balance. He had to go through position coaches. These kids had to go through position coaches. Had to go do this, got to do that. Then once you get to Deion, you have to think, well, was Deion paying attention to what I was doing? Does he know?
Yeah, but you're not going. I mean, when you get on that level, you're not going to find no coach who pays attention to you like that.
That's my point. So if you interview a kid that transferred out, he's gonna have something negative to say. You know what I mean? Look, I'm not into the good or bad scenario, the bad guy, the good guy scenario. I'm not gonna do that, because when I was in school decades ago, when you made a decision to go to a school, some of the people I know, some of the brothers I knew, was brave enough to transfer out. And I use that word brave because that was true. I wasn't brave enough. I said, you know what? I'm going to make a good opportunity out of this. Now, I started for 3 years, so I really don't have no complaints. Now, my follow-up, depending on what day you catch me, I felt like I got dicked over, but it is what it is. But I started for 3 years in the Big East. You know what I'm saying? One of the best times of my life. So I really don't have no complaints.
I've always, and I didn't get it from any particular source or anything like that, man, but I've always equated, like a college transfer or college athlete transfer as a failure.
It's not, though.
No, I'm not. I said that was personal, and I don't have any particular reason, and maybe my reason is because, you're supposed to stick it out. You're supposed to, all the hardships you're going through and all that, is going to build character. Man, fuck that, man, because there's some place that you can go and play ball and go to school and not have any of this goddamn turmoil.
Dumb shit.
So
I'll give you something. 3 good friends that I know transferred from Pitt and became professional basketball players. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Mm-hmm.
Transferred from Pitt and became professional basketball players, 1,000-point scorers on their team, their college teams, because they found the fit, the perfect fit for them.
Mm-hmm.
So just to speak on that, I agree. People always felt like you failed. because you got the fuck out of there. But I always thought it was bravery because you knew like, yo, this is not me, and I'm not gonna hurt myself.
And I'm not.
I didn't get that mature. I didn't get that mature, Jaquari. I really didn't. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make lemonade out of this. But just like I said earlier, I started for 3 years, so I don't have a complaint. All right, brother. I think it was a great discussion.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Stacy, Taylor, appreciate your comments. Man, y'all came right on time. Edwin, you came right on time. You know what I'm saying? Sister-in-law, I have no idea. Y'all must have some, you and my brother spoke, must have some kind of signal or something. But my point is,
I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
no, it's in the joint. Here's the last comment in friend of the show, KJ. Said, not failure. It's a blessing to have an opportunity to possibly find a better place if that's what's necessary. That was how it was and how it should be. Transferring for a bigger NIL bag has tarnished the privilege. I'm laughing, KJ, because yes, I agree with you.
It's too early for me to say that I disagree.
I mean, but let me just say this though, KJ. If it's about business, going for that bigger bag, that's great business. You know what I'm saying? But if you on that collegiate stance, and the man had no reason to leave Tennessee, he's a starter, he's getting paid $2 million a year, and this is not making judgment on him. I'm just trying to figure out if it's about commerce or is it about college. You know what I'm saying? Now you can mix it in with both, but shit, bro, honestly, that $4 million look great, but if I'm 20 years old, 21, and the school is actually giving me, not giving, my contract is guaranteeing me $2 million, and I'm on a squad that's in the SEC. Why the fuck do I care?
Yeah, I'm really apprehensive about how long they're gonna have that money, man. You know that's something about that, you know, this situation that really bothers me. You know, and again, I'm not pocket watching, man. I'm not pocket watching. But you know, is there any entity, you know, who who are going to take the responsibility to teach these young people financial literacy? But we're worried about their grades and whether or not they're eligible to play. But we don't care about the money that, you know, the large amounts of money that we give them to sign on with our schools. That's where the NCAA is dropping the ball. They could do great things. They could do great things in that situation. They could.
Look, okay. Just like, okay, Marcus says the ease of transferring is a gift and a curse, right? And then KJ says in the comment, you know, I'm all about college. That speaks volumes because you're about college. You understand what I'm saying to you? Now, really and truly, the majority of the people who grew up without money, parents was working hard, working their fingers to the bone, right? They're about commerce. Like, yo, I am here to make my life and my family life better. You feel me? It's up to me to get the right CPA, so I pay my taxes, so the government don't come in and get and find me more money because I'm too young to even think about having fucking taxes and being put in that tax bracket. Understanding that tax bracket. Because look, yeah, these young kids don't know, and their parents don't know, Jaquari, and their parents don't know, right? But does that mean you don't go out and try to find out?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I mean,
I think it's better.
it does. Yeah, it doesn't mean you don't go out and try, but it does mean, man, that you educate yourself on all facets of this goddamn thing, all of them.
I get it. I get it. I get it. And that's the thing about it is what college sports does is they kind of cut the parent out. I know it personally. They cut the parent out
Mhm.
where you're grown, so we don't need to be talking to your parent. I know my oldest son was told that by a coach, and I had to sit a coach down and say, "Hey, my man,
Yeah.
was that the same way when it came to your parents?" He looked at me, red faced, and said, "No, they was. Yeah, I know they were.
Mhm.
But guess what? You speak to my son about his decision making. Yes, he should be able to make his own decision, but we should be an advisor to him
Yeah. I mean,
because he still needs us.
for him to even make that statement is predatory, man.
It is. It's a measure. It was a measure of control.
Hmm.
It's what it was. You know what I mean? Because look, with our parents, Jaquari, everything that came down the pike, I got on the phone and said, "Hey, listen, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, da 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 da. This is what's going on." So our mom and dad knew exactly whether they did anything about it. They knew exactly what I'm going through because I knew that they had a better view of adulthood as I was going through matriculating through college.
I'm
You
gonna
feel
tell you.
me? Even though they never went to college, but I'm talking about college is basically adulthood.
Mhm. I'm gonna tell you what, man. The few recruiters that I had, come past the house and sit in the living room, man, I didn't talk to those people. Pop talk to those people. I didn't
Mhm.
say. I didn't say a word.
And you know
My,
you know
my,
where he
my,
learned it from?
yeah. My job was to play football.
Yeah.
That
And
was it.
you want to know where he learned it from? Because when I was being recruited, they came in, they're both sitting in the living room. These recruiters, because of stereotypes, only spoke to our mom.
Mhm.
Only spoke to her about what's going on. Hey, Mrs. Armstrong, Keith is we're gonna take care of him, and we're gonna do this. And hey, Mrs. Armstrong, the education, blah blah. One day, my mother said, "Whoa, whoa, 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 stop." She did that to every recruiter, especially when they were white. She said, "Hold on, my husband has exercised a lot of patience with what you're doing.
Yeah.
He has not said nothing to you. You want to know why? Because you are directing things that he addresses. So from now on, she did this for everyone who came in who did that. This is the same speech. She said, he is the person you need to be talking to right now. You know how many red faces I saw? You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to tell you the crazy thing is the one coach who came in, and all your old folks, old head folks know who I'm talking about, was Rick Majerus.
Mhm.
He was assistant coach at Marquette University. Then he coached the University of Arkansas.
Mhm.
He looked at my father and spoke to him the whole time. He looked at our dad, spoke, and our dad, when he was done, they became fast friends. And every time he called the house, he spoke to him first.
Mhm. But that's. I mean, I'm gonna step on the toes, but that's manhood. I mean, like
Yeah.
I work. I got several coworkers, right, who are female. And you know, I talk with my work, we interact at work or anything, you know, and everything like that. But if I was to see them on the street, I'm coming and I'm talking to I'm talking to their man, you know, their husband or their, you know what I mean. You
Yeah.
check that. That's how you check the temperature, because not everybody is welcoming, you know, when they're out on the street with you know, with their woman or whatever. You
That's
know,
real.
we always in protection mode. So yeah, I understand y'all work together, but you know, you a little familiar, bro.
Yes, sir.
And that's, you know, it's shit. You know, I would understand that, because I would say that, like, hey, yeah, I don't care how y'all get, you know, get through the day at the office. You know, there's a certain you know, level of familiarity that I'm not that you won't have with mine, and that's just what it is.
Yeah. Well, in closing, what I want to say is I have no problem with logical, involved fathers.
Not at all.
I don't have a problem with involved fathers who get drunk off the limelight. I
Mhm.
really don't. But logical fathers, understanding that they need to guide their sons to the better situation for their sons, I have no problem with it. I have no problem with mothers, logical mothers, the same thing,
Mhm.
because that's our duty. You know what I'm saying? That's our
Mhm.
duty to our children to put them in the best situation we possibly can. But also in the meantime, we need to understand what's best for our child. So Dion, other than let me just say this before I get off. I've always admired Dion's confidence. Now, he got corny when he was playing. He got corny with his videos and shit like that. But I had no problem with him going after the bag. But I always thought that was corny. You feel me?
He did what he wanted to do.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. Exactly.
was who he was, and being who he was,
Yeah.
he got disconnected from regular folks. That's what
And,
happens when
and
you
that's
become
real.
a celebrity.
That's
You know,
real.
I mean, like why you think, you know? I mean, Jay Z wanted to go, you know, as far as music goes or whatever. But the music he's made, you know, within the last 10 years, nobody can relate to, because we're not fucking billionaires.
That's real.
We're not fucking billionaires. And he can't come down to the goddamn liquor store and hang out. So how the fuck is he?
Not with somebody contemplating robbing his ass.
Yeah. So how does he keep his ear to the street? He can't.
He
So
can't.
he's
Not
left.
anymore.
Yeah, he's left up to his own devices, and you know, in regards to creating art.
Hmm.
So he's got to go into his Basquiat phase, because that's what the fuck because
Yeah.
he's probably
He
looking to
ain't got
buy
no
them.
choice.
He probably looking to buy them shits.
He ain't got no choice. He ain't got
Yeah.
no choice to
So
beat Basquiat. And that's the thing about it is, you know, his hair is too perfect though.
mm,
To beat Bos, too perfect, man. I look at the picture, I'm like, come on, dog. Please don't tell me that's a damn wig. But it is what it is. I'm just
well,
trying to be funny. But
if it was a wig, you could. I guarantee you couldn't get close enough to snatch that motherfucker off.
and look, here's the
You
thing.
know what I mean?
I really don't care. Yo, do your thing, brother. Do your thing.
Mm.
But last words for the night. KJ, Stacy, you know, Marcus, thank you, brother. Edwin, thank you. Appreciate y'all, man. For real. Y'all came through and y'all gave us some great, great responses.
Absolutely.
Last word for the night, Jaquari.
Hey man, you know, sometimes it ain't broke. Sometimes it ain't broke, man. You know, you can apply that to anything. You know, it ain't broke, but it don't fit you no more. So you got to move on.
That's real.
Moving on, you know, is not as hard as you think, because you don't lose anything, man. You know, you gain when you grow, or you grow when you gain. There you go.
That's real. Last word for me is um, everybody has the same but different opinions about the same thing. So it's different angles, different versions of the same thing. So instead of jumping on something because they don't give their version of it word for word from yours. Listen to what they have to say because it might change how you see things.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So look, this is Strong Perspective Podcast. Go to our YouTube channel, like, share, and subscribe, man. Blow our situation up. You know, give us everything that we need to reach everything that we need to reach, everybody we need to reach. You know, under my strong donation, you see donations, you see the cash app for the podcast. If you feel inclined, hit us up, bless us, because you know we are devoting everything we got into this. And if you feel you need to donate towards it, we appreciate it. Now, I'm asking that, but if nothing comes in, then we still good. So, but you know, I was told that sometimes you need to just throw it out there into to the ether to gain some more momentum. So this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to push it down the fucking hill now. This is a great podcast, ladies and gentlemen, and share it with your friends and move it forward because it's great conversation. Today was Freestyle Friday, so you know we talked majority about sports, but really did we talk about sports or did we talk about the human side of it? So listen, I'm Keith Armstrong, along with
I'll go spoke.
this is Strong Perspective Podcast. Damon, you get better, meaning take care of your business. Everything is everything, and it's all love. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
Peace.